What's up, YouTube? It's the Action Figure Grader coming back to you with another video. And I do want to start off the video with a little bit of sad news. A Patreon supporter and good friend of mine, Joe R., passed away unexpectedly. And he's my age. He was 46 years old, so it's a real bummer anytime we lose a member of the toy community. But I've gotten to know I had gotten to know Joe over the last couple of years. He was just a good friend and supporter, and we did business together and everything. And so it was kind of a big shock when I read that he had passed away unexpectedly. So my thoughts and prayers are for his family right now. They're going through a really tough time, and I do have, as we get into these vintage mint on card prices, I do have a way that one of y'all can contribute to help out with his GoFundMe on that. So anyway, I just wanted to give a shout out to Cindy, his wife, who is kind of in the process of grieving and trying to put together the money for the funeral. And those of you who have contributed already to the GoFundMe, really, really kind of you. Kevin C., thank you so much for contributing. I did make that donation in your name. And if you're interested in supporting the GoFundMe, I will put a link in the video description to this video, to the GoFundMe, to raise money for his funeral costs. So just thinking about Joe right now as we go through some of these mint on card sales, and pretty wide variety of items here. We've got a CAS 75 grade Stormtrooper 12-back B with the Takara sticker. So pretty cool. And this is an AFA, excuse me, not a CAS. AFA 75. So 75 were all of the sub-scores, but this is that beautiful Takara Stormtrooper. It was punched with no price sticker. Look, maybe just a little bit of residue, but there's that really cool kind of Takara import sticker that were on the front of these 12-backs. And so that's a pretty unique item. That one sold. That one just sold for $17.99. So big number on that one. I've seen them go for less than that. And that was the main culprit. If you look at the racetrack on the far left-hand side, you can see kind of a tear there. So I don't know if that was a price sticker removal damage or what, but $1,800 seems a little high to me. I think you could probably do maybe just slightly better than that. You can also see some discoloration to the torso and head, which is why it got the 75 figure score despite the blaster still being in the Stormtrooper's hands. But, I mean, give me a break. This is a 12-back Takara Stormtrooper. It's a pretty awesome item. But $1,800 took that one home. A couple of different die-cast mint on cards sold in an auction. This one sold for $225. This is the TIE Fighter, and obviously it's got a crease going all the way down the card there, but nice crystal clear blister. You know, probably 70, 75 grade, somewhere in there. That one sold for $225. Same seller also had the X-Wing, and this one sold for $350. This one was in a little bit better condition, a soft crease going down the middle there, a little bit of sticker damage there. So probably 70, 75 grade at best, but it presents a lot nicer than a 75 or 70 grade. The blisters are crystal clear on those. That one sold for $350.99 on 14 bids. So both of those, I think, went for very fair prices. This one was a shocker, though. I don't know if this is a relist or what, but this is that 45A Canadian C-3PO with removable limbs. I feel like it had already sold, but maybe the seller had to relist it for a non-paying buyer. But it was a 75, 85, 85 were the sub-scores. Overall, 80 grade yellow blister. But it's a Canadian C-3PO on that ESB card back. So pretty awesome item with multi-language for the removable arms and also multi-language for the Star Wars display arena. So that's a pretty awesome item. I was shocked by that price, though. $1,326. That is a big number for that one. But it is a beautiful Canadian example. Now, I thought this one went kind of more in line with market, and that's the Luke Skywalker in the Hoth battle gear. And I think this was a relist as well. I don't know if the seller didn't like the number that he got or if just the buyer did not pay. But this was a beautiful example of the debut card on the Canadian 45 bag. It was a yellow blister unpunched, as we talked about previously. I can't remember what it sold for previously, but at least this go around it sold for $566 on 33 bids. I would have paid that all day long. I mean, that is an awesome looking item, and would have paired nicely with my standard US card, but I'm pretty sure that those are both relists for either non-paying buyers or something else going on there. Here was that twin pod cloud car die cast. Speaking of die cast, we just covered two of them, but this is one I had in my what to buy video, and it was an AFA 50, so pretty low grade. but it sold for 256 Canadian dollars, which is 191 US dollars. That is a bargain. I mean, you know, again, it's a low grade. If it's only a 50 for the card, but the blister was an 80, vehicle 90 for an overall 50 score. And for $200, that's a pretty good deal. That's a pretty good buy on a mint on card cloud car. Next up was an ungraded IG88. This one is a 41 back with a yellowed blister, unpunched. Looked pretty nice, but obviously yellowing to the blister held the price down. It sold for $296 on 13 bids. I think that if that had been a clear blister, easily double that price. Easily. I would guess probably closer to $600, maybe even $700 for that one, if not higher. IG88 on the ESB card backs, clear blister, they are pricey. It doesn't matter if it's the early 31, 32 backs, or even some of these later 41, 47, 48 backs. They go for a lot of money. It's just one of those clear blister cards that commands a big number. Next up, this seller had some beautiful ESB card backs. And so this seller, it was in the UK, but this seller had a 21B clear blister Revenge of the Jedi, and it was an AFA 80. It was the 48 back C, 80, 85, 85. It was listed for 700 pounds. The best offer that was accepted was 550 pounds, which equates to, let's call that about 750 US dollars, which I would pay that all day long. I mean, that's a good value. I just think that the 21B droid pairs really nicely with that free Revenge of the Jedi Akbar offer. The blue on that really pops, and it's just a great contrast, or, you know, matching, whatever you want to say. But that's a beautiful example, and I think worth every penny. Unpunched, I've seen them sell for over $1,000 on that 48 back, so that's a good buy there. The same seller also had this 41A survival kit offer, Leia Hoth, and I think that this one, it looks like it's the red-haired Leia, but it's hard to tell. It could be the brown-haired Leia. It's not labeled as red hair. But here it is. It's an AFA 85. Card got an 80, blister 85, figure 85. It was a punched example, clear blister. It was listed for $1,000. It sold for 814 pounds, which probably equates to about 1,000 US dollars. So I think that's, again, probably in line with market, and a pretty nice example. This is the one that was really nice. This one was an unpunched. It looks unpunched, I think. Maybe it was a punched Vader on that free Revenge of the Jedi. I mean, that's awesome to have a Revenge of the Jedi Vader. Excuse me, my voice is a little dry. But it was yellowed. It was a yellowed blister, 75 UKG, 75, 75, 85 with a yellow blister. But still, there's something about that Revenge of the Jedi offer with Vader behind it. That's just awesome. I love that. Great combination. It's a shame it was a yellow blister, but it didn't stop somebody from making a nice offer on it. It was listed for 1,000 pounds, and it sold for 850 pounds. So somewhere in that 1,050 US dollar range for that one. But pretty much any mint on card ESB Vader, it's going to be over $1,000 if it's in good shape. It's just, they're very, very expensive. Next up was that beautiful Miro Meccano 65 back Emperor's Royal Guard. It was only an AFA 60, but it was on that French Meccano card back, and these had a tape that was applied, I think, after, or excuse me, in the factory. Some of those were known to come with tape at the bottom of the blister. I don't know if it was a defect and they were just kind of compensating for that, but you can see the tape between those double stem blisters. Maybe the glue or whatever from the Meccano factory didn't stay on well, so they added that tape in the factory. So that's why it was able to be graded by AFA despite the tape on the back. But that was an AFA 60. The card got a 75, blister 60, figure 85. But you can see the pronounced tape there. And there was some bubble crunching on the front of the card back, front of the blister, as you can see there. But it's that double stem Meccano Fabrique Macau. So really awesome. La Guerre des Etoiles. That sold for 1,521 US dollars on 41 bids. That was sold by CIB, which is affiliated with AFA. But that's a beautiful example, and the name pill's got the foreign language. Can't go wrong with that. Next up was an AFA 80 yellowed 77 back A Stormtrooper. So that's a pretty nice looking example. That sold for $700. That's a big number for a yellow blister. But again, it's just like the Vaders. Anything that is Stormtrooper or Vader related mint on card, they just seem to go for big money. Same with Leia and Luke, obviously, but 80, 85, 85 were the sub-scores for that 77 back A, and that one again sold for $700 in a buy it now situation. All right, now here's how you can help out with the GoFundMe for Joe R, who passed away. And I've got this on my on Rogue 5 Toys on Facebook, but I've got this exact same item for sale on Rogue 5 Toys, and I'm going to take 50% of the proceeds, which is well more than I spent on the item, believe me. But I've got an AFA 85 Luke Jedi on the 65 back B, made in Taiwan. Now this one is a CAS 85 plus, and this one was unpunched. So this one was a little bit better, but this was an a CAS 85 plus, 85, 90, 90 were the scores on it. And this one sold in a best offer accepted situation. It was listed for $900. The best offer that it was accepted was $800. Now I've got an AFA 85 for sale on Rogue 5, at least as of the making of this video. It's an AFA 85, exact same item. I've got it listed for $700 US, shipped in the US. And I can't remember what the sub scores are, but I think it's 85, 85, 90 are the sub scores. But it's a punched example, not unpunched. So I took this sales price and I dropped $100 off of it. And it's for sale, $700 shipped on Rogue 5 Toys. And I'm going to donate 50% of it, 50% of the proceeds to the GoFundMe for Joe R's funeral expenses. So if you have any interest, at least as of the making of this video, it's still for sale on Rogue 5 Toys. But anyway, this one, again, was a CAS 85 plus, and it sold for $800 US. Next up was a Tri-Logo Obi-Wan Kenobi. It had some condition issues, nothing major, but just light dings and creases. That one sold for $275. I thought that was a pretty good buy. It's probably in 75 grade. You can see some creasing by the hang tab there and some light dings to the blister, but the blister's got pretty good shape to it. It's got the etched edges on the blister, but one little ding in the upper right. But $275 for that I thought was a good buy. Next up, we've got an uncirculated 85 plus. I think I had this in my what to buy video. This is the Ramba on the Power of the Force card back, uncirculated 85 plus grade. So somebody sent in a sealed Power of the Force case to AFA, and this one got the U85 plus. This sold for $512 on 28 bids plus shipping. Pretty awesome looking item though. That blister is in pretty good shape, really, relative to how yellow some of them get. But you can't do much better than an uncirculated 85 plus for Ramba. Next up, we got a couple of different R2-D2 on the Star Wars Droids card backs that sold. So this is the Droids cartoon example. This one sold for $900 in an auction, one bid. It was a punched example. And then this one was unpunched, and it sold for $1,100. So it's a pretty tight price range for similarly conditioned figures, unpunched versus punched. So you can expect to spend about $1,000 to $1,100 ungraded for the R2-D2 pop-up on the Droids card back. This was a gem. This one was the Droids animated Tig From. It was an AFA 80, and it sold for 1,751 Australian dollars, which is $11.60 US. And I think that Chris over at Rogue 5 Toys has got an AFA 80 listed right now for way less than this. So if you're interested in Tig From, you can go over to Rogue 5 Toys, because it's an AFA 80 clear blister just like this one, and it's listed for at least $300 or $400 less. I don't remember the exact number, but I want to say it was $850 to $900. This one sold for $1160. Big number. And then finally was this Ewoks cartoon Wicket. We all know how expensive this one has gotten. This one continues to go up in price. It was an AFA 80 clear blister. That one sold for 970 Australian dollars, which is 641 US dollars. That's actually lower than where I've seen this sell. This one has kind of been hovering around $850 to $900 in similar grade clear blisters. So I think that was actually a pretty good buy relative to where this one has been selling lately. So anyway, thank you so much for watching, and I will be back very soon.